Do you believe in monsters, in the unknown, mythical beasts that scare and amaze you? You aren't the only one if you do. In fact, there's a whole country that thinks the Yeti walks in its borders. Naturally, I was curious to see whether or not it was real, or that maybe it was a fairy tale that had just gone a bit too far. So I went to Bhutan, a nation in the eastern Himalayas, to see whether or not the Yeti is real. There was only one car for the job. I've been told that I will definitely find a Yeti here, because this is where it's been sighted the most throughout all of history. And to do that, to find my Yeti, I've got probably the perfectly named vehicle for it. A Skoda Yeti. We know they're capable, we know Skoda says they can go super off-road, so the plan is get in Yeti, drive around Bhutan, try and find Yeti, take picture, become world famous international man of mystery. That's the plan. So far the roads have ranged from quite terrible to very terrible to just rocks and stuff. Kind of glad the Yeti has an off-road mode because it's handled it remarkably admirably. As you can probably tell by shaky camera, it's not the smoothest ride in the world, but the roads are awful, so it can be very much forgiven. Tell you what, the views here are stunning. The landscape is simply astounding. The plan was to start at a border town, Samdrup Jonkor, and take a couple of days to get to Merak village, a place 2 miles above sea level that's next to a Yeti and other wildlife sanctuary. I would swiftly learn that Bhutan's roads are pretty lethal. Few come with tarmac, most are rutted, covered in loose stones, and have cliffs to one side and sheer drops to the other. It's no surprise Yeti sightings are rare. Getting to where they hang out is pretty difficult. The Yeti, it handled the off-road stuff really well. Super impressed. Also, our cars have been blessed by a llama. While we haven't climbed a literal mountain vertically, as you can probably tell, I'm going over some fairly manky terrain at the moment, and it's just taking it in its stride. It's actually astonishing how good this motor has been. Right, day 2, and we are heading up to a village called Merak. Now, the wonderful thing about Merak is that only 100 people visit it every year. We're going to be getting to 3,530 metres above sea level. The road on the way up to Merak was built 2 years ago. We were told new road, so expected lovely shiny tarmac and easy access. No, it's just rocks and dust. On the road up to the village, we stopped in to take in the views, acclimatised to the altitude. 2 miles up is no mean feat, and to interview the lady who literally wrote the book on the Yeti.
I've heard stories about the interactions between the Yeti and the human beings and how the Yeti is regarded by the communities. And if you happen to encounter it, you're supposed to treat it reverently, pay your respect, and sort of leave it in peace, and it'll not harm you. You just encounter it when there is some kind of a connection. And what I found very interesting was the stories were very consistent, the descriptions were consistent. So there must be something that is in the Himalayas. There must be some truth. It may be somewhere watching us. You don't feel it, but I think it's here.
I came to Bhutan to find a Yeti, full in the knowledge that I most likely wouldn't. It's a mythical thing. But the stories I'd been told made me think that while it may not be 100% legit, it was real to some people, or at least they hoped it was. Being many miles up and therefore rapidly approaching sub-zero, and having been treated to some local Bhutanese homebrew, a traditional yak dance, it was definitely time for bed. Yeti-less sadly, but the temperature was dropping and the team needed sleep. Day 3, here I am in the middle of Bhutan. It's stupidly hot and I'm melting. The aircon in this thing though is fantastic, so I'm going to be doing a lot more driving over Bhutan's quite treacherous roads later today. Now, I've spoken to locals, I've had a look myself, and there's no hide nor hair of a Yeti, but basically I like the idea of it, and this thing's been really good so far. Not not had any crashes, it's not struggled to get up anything, we've thrown rocks and cack underneath it and nothing's broken yet, so that's a definite bonus. The Skoda may not have been the perfect car for the job, but it was certainly well suited to it. People may say it's not right for the rough stuff, but it scaled mountains and crossed a country with very few real roads. It was a great companion to have for our trip. I set out to find a real Yeti. I didn't find one, but I found a people who were brought up on it. Bhutan is a kind place, a magical one, so you know what? I think there is a Yeti in Bhutan, because if thinking it's out there makes them so happy, well, it sure as hell makes me happy too.